They try to test us, now you know ain't no rest of the bag full. You want smoke, I got backwoods. Really do it, I don't gotta act hood. I know shorty a baddie, but act good. And you don't want me to one flex on the gang and get turned to a t-shirt. Double back on your block, ain't no revert.
Hey YouTube, so today I'm here to show you how to put pictures inside of your resin art and how I do it in my method. And I am a beginner to resin art. I just started my business about 2 months ago. The link will be down below in my description box, but keep watching. Okay, so I use Glaze Coat by Famwood. You can get it in any, well, I'd assume any Home Depot. I purchased mine a few times from my specific Home Depot, but I'd say it's the best because I bought a resin before and it was my first time and like it wasn't drying right. And sometimes when you buy resin, it has to be really like when you do resin in general, you have to portion it out so where it's even. You might not tell because of the way I position the camera, but that's very important for resin. It has to be an equal portion of each to mix into one. I believe with most resins, part B will go into A because part B is more like lighter and A is thicker than B. But please make sure to read your instructions because my resin specifically says that I have to pour it in and then mix it for 6 minutes. And then after that, get another cup and then mix it for another 6 minutes. And one technique with stirring, I mean, I usually get the Home Depot sticks because I go to Home Depot anyways to get my resin, but make sure to mix it slowly because resin has a lot of bubbles, and if you have a lot of bubbles, it might make your work look bad, even though you can get a lighter and try to, like, you know, pop most of them, but that would help with the inside of it so it's not so bubbly, and some places have little bubble marks that didn't even get filled up, you know, stuff like that. But please make sure to stir slowly or else your whole thing is just going to be a mess. So with my resin, I realized that the first cup is going to be a little cloudy, but then when I pour it into the second cup and keep stirring it for the extra 6 minutes, it gets clearer. So just realize that it's going to look cloudy and weird at first because the two things are mixing, but it's supposed to look clear. So I'm kind of making a couple things today, but these are the first two that I'm going to show you how to make because I did 2 different methods. Okay, so when you print your pictures, that's like a 4x4, I believe, but that's still a little too big for your tray. So of course you're gonna have to end up cutting some off. So when I first started doing this, because I never knew how to put pictures in it, but I kind of just estimated and I like seen how the back looked against the picture and I kind of cut around that. And then I would put it on top of the front and then I would try to fit it in, as you can see. And if it was a little sticked out like that, that would mean, oh, it's too big, and I would cut a little bit off the edge. Make sure to just go little by little so that your picture kind of looks more fitted into the ashtray. But after that, I kind of just kept a little like stencil copy so I know like what the inside of my ashtray, the size is, so that next time I have a picture, I can just, you know, pull that one out and I know that that size is going to fit inside the center of the tray. So for my first method with the purple picture, I had used my resin pigment, I used sparkles, and I used a glow-in-the-dark thing that usually gets activated by a UV ray, like a nail, like, you know, when you go to the nail salon, you put your hands under there, and that type of thing. But I will be putting everything in the description down below, all the links. One thing to remember when you're working with resin is you kind of got to move a little fast, even though it's really hard because everything's so sticky. But after like an hour, at least with my resin, like it's going to start to get like thick in your cup and it gets really hot. So you want to kind of work fast. Overall though, this should be the consistency of your resin. It's really thick and kind of watery. So like I said, this is my first time putting a picture inside of resin, and I've seen people do different things. Like they either put the picture down or they put resin and then put the picture. So I feel like the better method, for me at least, knowing how resin goes for me, when you fill it up and then put the picture, your picture always lifts and rises. So just from my experience and what I've learned, I just feel more comfortable putting the resin inside and then putting the picture on top and then putting another layer on top. I just feel like it works better. I feel like the little bit of resin that is there kind of makes it stick more. But if you have any suggestions, make sure to comment down below because I've tried tape before, but it looks tacky. Like, it's really hard to get pictures to stay down in resin. I don't know why. It's the most annoying thing. But yeah, please let me know down below, what is your method to like getting your pictures to stay? So for my second method, which is a little bit easier because, you know, you could just make your ashtray and then, you know, cut the picture out like I showed you in the beginning to fit inside of it, which only requires a little bit more resin after that to like seal it. I feel like both ways work. It just depends on what you want to do. Both ways look nice. You just have to make sure that your pictures, like I said, I messed up and my pictures were too big. So there was a lot more to that picture that would have looked fire on the ashtray. But, you know, next time I'm going to print them out different so that I could get the whole picture inside and it's going to look lit. So just try whatever method you feel like works for you. So I like to put a little layer at the bottom of it. I don't really know if it helps. I use it kind of like as a glue, but I feel like it should help because if you don't, then the bubbles are going to get underneath your picture from the top part when you put it on top, and then I think it's just going to rise and look weird. So as you can see on top of your resin, there's always going to be some type of bubbles. What I do is you can go to Walmart and get that 2-pack lighter, like the fire grill lighters, the really long ones. And like I use it because when you use a lighter, or people get heat guns or whatever you want to get, but when I use a lighter, it gets super hot and I just can't even pop the bubbles. But with that long one, it really helps. But this is the end of my video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And comment down below some of the things and tricks and tips that you use for your resin art. And if you're interested in purchasing anything, please click the link in my description box.